Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. The Friends of Wollaston Beach are preparing for their new season and for the Shamrock Splash. We'll learn all about that and more coming up. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, not a bad day at the beach today. Actually, we have sunshine out there. It's 46 degrees right now, but that wind has got a bit of a bite to it. It'll gust to over 30 miles per hour at times later on this afternoon. Temperatures in the upper 40s to near 50 degrees. Chilly night again tonight under partly cloudy skies. Lows drop off into the upper 20s. Much cooler tomorrow with more clouds. Still a little brisk. High tomorrow only in the upper 30s. A little warmer on Wednesday. Still got a bit of a bite to that wind. Wednesday's highs into the mid 40s. Kind of a carbon copy on Thursday with less wind. Cloudy and a high Thursday, 44 degrees. Again, sunshine, 46 in Quincy right now. Check the news for you today. The Quincy City Council is considering a request from the administration to spend $1.9 million to continue making seawall improvements out on Howe's Neck and storm drain improvements all across the city. Ward 1 City Councilor Dave McCarthy says the project would improve seawalls along Manette Avenue to Babcock Street.
The Willows down to Perry Beach and do some extensive work down there. So I can't thank the administration enough for being able to continue with this. I mean, it's a big safety concern down there over the years, and it's something that when we're done with Manette, we'll have pretty much all the weak spots on the seawall taken care of. So.
Mayor Thomas Koch says some of the work may involve raising the height of certain sections of the seawall to increase flood protection. The funding would come from the Sewer and Drain Fund, which is paid into by developers that are working in the city, and it would be in addition to $2.9 million in state funding. The City Council's Finance Committee is reviewing that request. Quincy City Council did recently approve spending $95,000 from the Community Preservation Fund to make some emergency structural repairs to the historic Southern Tide Mill on the Southern Artery. Mayoral spokesman Chris Walker says the building is in danger of collapsing.
Essentially, this is to provide bracing for the pylons at the Tide Mill. Structural engineers took a look at it, as they do quite frequently, and it is in dire need of being replaced. The only real difference here is you'll obviously notice that this is coming out of the usual CPC funding cycle. We usually take care of those in June. Mr. President, I know as you as a member of the committee voted based on the timeliness and the need. The committee voted at its last meeting to move this immediately for appropriation from this body based upon the emergency nature of the request.
Community Preservation Committee already approved the funding in an effort to get those repairs completed as soon as possible. Walker said the city is also creating a larger master plan for the entire Tide Mill site. A Quincy Point bar and restaurant will be reopening after failing to renew their license last year. The Crack Pub on Washington Street has received preliminary approval for an all-alcoholic and restaurant license. Quincy City Clerk Nicole Crispo explains they still need approval from 3 city departments.
There are multiple things that need to be done, a checklist of things that need to be done for the building department, the fire department, and the Board of Health. These things are we gave a list to the board: fire extinguishers, lights. There was a big issue with a dumpster and things like that we brought up to put on the record at the hearing. Those things will be addressed, and contingent on those things being addressed will then issue a license if, in fact, it is approved by the ABCC.
The Crack will be under new management by Sean Leonard, but still owned by the same corporation. It closed back on December 31st of last year after failing to renew their license. Quincy City Council President Noel DeBona will seek re-election to an at-large council seat this fall. DeBona says he'll make a formal announcement soon.
I will be running for re-election for councilor at large. I'm very happy with the position, and yes, I'm looking forward to. I haven't really announced, but my true intentions is to move forward and continue to do a good job with the city. So yes, I would say I would be doing it. I wouldn't make it like an official and have a kickoff yet, but it looks like I'm gonna, 99% of the way gonna run for re-election.
DeBona was first elected to the City Council in 2015 after serving for 2 years on the Quincy School Committee. He's an administrative assistant right now at the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds, formerly worked at the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office. DeBona also helps run his family's landscaping business. All 9 city councilors and the mayor are all up for re-election this year. Newly elected Ward 4 councilor James Devine has said he will seek a full 2-year term. And school committee members Paul Brigoli, Frank Santoro, and Kathy Hubley are also up for re-election this year. To recognize March as Women's History Month, the City of Quincy, back on Saturday, honored 4 local women, as well as First Lady Abigail Adams. Special honors were given to Mannett Community Health Center CEO Cynthia Sierra, Quincy Community Action Program Director Beth Anstrollo, Quincy Choral Society Director Sarah Labrie, and Quincy Public Schools Assistant Superintendent Erin Perkins. Master of Ceremonies reporter Kimberly Bookman closed the events with one of the most recognized writings from the First Lady.
Remember the ladies, and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. If particular attention is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to foment rebellion and will not hold ourselves bound by any laws in which we have no voice or representation. I think she said it all.
Sarah Martin of the Massachusetts Historical Society spoke about the life and times of Abigail Adams. The event was designed to honor women in the fields of arts and culture, nonprofits, health and wellness, education, and history. To our check of news for you today, coming up, Maureen Mazrimas and Maya Smith join us from the Friends of Wollaston Beach to talk about the Shamrock Splash and more. That's next. Welcome back. Now that March is upon us, it's time to start thinking about spring activities. It is meteorological spring, by the way, as of March 1st. It might not feel like it just yet, but the folks at Friends of Wollaston Beach and Save the Harbor, Save the Bay are certainly thinking about spring and summer. So President Maureen Mazrimas and Maya Smith of Save the Harbor, Save the Bay are here to tell us all about it. It's the Beach Buddies.
The beach buddies.
Exactly.
Different beach buddies. Yeah.
Looking through the world through
Rose-colored
green-colored glasses, Maureen. Nice to see you both.
Nice
Yes.
to see you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's a pleasure as always. It's great to start to talk about things that are going to be happening in the warmer months, right?
This is true.
Yeah. How's things going over the wintertime, Maureen, with the friends?
Well, we don't really do a lot
I
in
know.
the winter.
Yeah.
We did have our amazing Dick Herbert toy
Toy drive?
drive
Yeah.
in December, and that was terrific. We wound up bringing 3 giant toy bags to the Interfaith Social Services.
That's great.
And basically, that's all we do over the winter because we're Friends of Wollaston Beach.
Right.
There is no beach in the winter other than walking or yoga or something.
Although this past winter, I mean, the
Yeah.
weather really has been pretty mild, so you could get out really and at least walk on the beach, right?
Yeah.
Or along the beach, yeah.
Yeah.
Did folks do that? Did you see them
Oh, yeah.
enjoying them?
Absolutely. And I know you know our Secretary, Bob Verney.
Yep.
Bob is, he walks no matter what. And he's participating in the splash. He's been participating in the splash for many years. But Bob is always out there walking, but he has his little grabber so that he can pick up trash
Yes.
on the way and
Yep.
make his walk productive.
Sure.
So
It's
we
always
encourage other people to do that too.
It's absolutely. It's always an issue. It's you know, since the dawn of time, right? It's litter on the beach.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a problem.
Bob made a really good point at one time, especially after you have a cleanup and the beach is more pristine than it was before. He said people are then a little bit more reluctant to be the first one
That's true.
to throw something
Yeah.
on the beach. So as long as we keep it clean, then you know people may.
Well, it's like the graffiti syndrome, right?
Yeah.
When nobody wants to be the first, but once that line has been crossed,
Right.
unfortunately, it grows.
Yeah,
So
for
it's
sure.
best to nip it in the bud, right?
Right,
Exactly.
Quite literally, yeah. We should talk about the partnership between the Friends and Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, because it's a very symbiotic relationship, isn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Save the Harbor, Save the Bay has been very generous in its grants to Friends of Wollaston Beach over the years. But a few years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting this lovely woman on my right-hand side, and she has since moved to Quincy.
Yes.
Which has made her even more valuable.
You stole her, Maureen.
We stole her. And she has joined the board of Friends of Wollaston Beach.
That's great.
And she and our vice president, Dan Conley, have been responsible for, updating our website and getting us more digital. And we couldn't do it without you, whether it's money or otherwise, money or technology.
Yeah.
Yes, and we love Maureen, so it's been really easy to continue the partnership between Save the Harbor and the Friends of Wollaston Beach, especially since Save the Harbor started initially in Quincy with the focus of cleaning up Wollaston Beach.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So welcome to Quincy, Maya, first
Yes,
of all.
thank you.
And welcome to the Friends. You are just a passionate cheerleader for all things Wollaston Beach and Save the Harbor, Save the Bay in general, right?
Yes.
How did you get involved in Save the Harbor, Save the Bay? What's your background?
Yeah, so I started with Save the Harbor in 2019. Before that, I was working at the City of Boston's Department of Youth Engagement and Employment. And when I found an opportunity to continue the work of engaging the community, but having the spin of focusing on the outdoors and the harbor and the environment, it was easy to say yes, and I've loved it ever since.
Really?
So I've been there for 3 years, and I like to say that I have the most fun job at the organization because I get to run our Better Beaches grant program,
Yeah.
and I spend a lot of my summer going to incredible free events on the beaches from Lynn down to Hull.
Giving out money.
Yes, giving out money, so I'm everyone's favorite party guest.
But talk about that process, because, I mean, really, the Friends, Maureen, would not be able to do what they do without the grant money from Save the
Right.
Harbor. Yeah.
We're also fortunate. We receive a grant from another private foundation.
Okay.
Who helped us before we became involved with Save the Harbor, Save the Bay.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible to think of what it costs just to put on an event such as Kids Fest. You have to pay the vendor, you have to pay the face painters, you have to pay, the DJ, and ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
Right, yeah.
And
food, refreshments. Yeah.
so there's only so much you can do on a limited budget, and thanks to Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, we've been able to do all sorts of things. We haven't done a lot of what we used to do since the pandemic. I mean, before we had partnered with Discover Quincy as well. We had concerts on the beach.
Yep.
We had tot lot events. We had puppet shows, we had movies, we had story time on the beach.
Yes.
And, with the pandemic, we weren't able to do all of that. And now we're hoping to sort of refresh and get back to doing those sorts of things.
That would be great. Yeah. 2023 is the year.
Yeah,
The comeback year.
we're,
right?
we're not gonna come back with the same enthusiasm that, I mean, in terms of like the beach concerts, as I recall, they were like every week from July through September, through the beginning of September. We're hoping to start off maybe once a month.
Okay.
July, August, September.
Okay. All right.
But we have to go through the permitting process
Certainly.
through DCR.
Yeah.
And
That's important
line
to
up.
point out. It's state property. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing because we need to get a permit even for a cleanup.
Do we really?
Yeah.
No.
Anything, I think Chris said the other day that technically, if it's an event that has more than 12 people,
Okay.
you're supposed to apply for
You
a
need
permit.
a permit, I see. Which costs money also, right?
Fortunately, I think for, well, things like cleanups, they don't charge
Okay. All
for
right.
that.
Good to
And-
know.
And then, things like Kids Fest, also you have to have insurance.
Certainly, yeah.
So, there's a lot of things, but yeah, and DCR is sort of hamstrung too because they don't have the personnel and they don't have the money that they used to have. So, sometimes trying to pull these things off becomes a little problematic.
That's where Save the Harbor, Save the Bay comes in to save the day. Right?
Exactly.
So talk about the grant process, Maya, how that works.
Of course. So the Better Beaches Grant Program, we are almost on our 20th year
Wow.
of being able to run this program, and it's in partnership with the Department of Conservation and Recreation.
Okay. All right.
So it's actually state funds
Oh.
that we're giving out to community members, organizations, anyone who has an idea for something compelling to take place on our region's public beaches. And like I said, we focus from Lynn down to Hull, so Nahant to Nantasket.
Right, yes.
And we have $300,000 that we allocate in small grants to folks. So if anyone in Quincy is interested and has a cool idea for something that they would like to see on Wollaston Beach, we would love to help support them.
Oh, all right. And
Yeah.
application through the website?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the application can be found on savetheharbor.org.
Okay.
And it closes on Monday the 13th of this month.
Oh, of this month. Okay.
Yes, so I hope that it is a pretty easy and brief application for folks. It's simply a Google form.
Okay.
Because we try to make it as accessible as possible.
Okay.
So anyone who has an idea, even if it's just for 30 people gathering for a yoga class, or if it's something as large and incredible as the Kids Fest
Yeah.
that draws hundreds, there's funding available for them.
Okay, I'm thinking maybe a classroom teacher wants to have a class out on the beach or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we've had book clubs out on the beach.
Yeah.
We've had swimming lessons. We have had art fairs. We've had chefs who are interested
Really?
in cooking things that come straight from the ocean and sharing that with the community. Basically, the entire goal of the Better Beaches Grant Program is to give that community state money to community members so that they have decision-making ability over these community spaces, our
Okay.
public beaches.
All right. Obviously,
And
go ahead, Maureen. Yes.
You just had a survey for beaches, programs that you would like to provide on
Yes.
the beach, and I know that ended on the 28th of February. What sort of results did you get in terms of,
Yeah.
what do people want?
Yeah, so we run a community participatory budgeting process where we go directly to community members and ask folks for ideas for what they want to see on our beaches.
Okay.
We set aside $25,000 strictly to go towards whatever the community votes on.
All right.
So the voting period is still open now, and will be closing shortly. We're going to be announcing the winners at the Shamrock Splash.
Okay.
So the idea period has closed for people to submit ideas, but now we took those ideas, put them onto a ballot, and whatever 5 events get the most votes, we automatically fund them
Oh.
for the community.
Oh, all right. So
I voted for kayaks on the beach.
There you go.
All right. Okay, so Quincy residents can have a direct role in seeing something occur on their beach.
Exactly. So
Okay.
even if you don't have the capacity or want to run the program yourself, you still can submit an idea for something that you think is interesting.
Okay.
Kayaks on the beach.
Kayaks on the beach, for example.
Getting a dig in there. Speaking of the splash,
Yes.
let's talk about the reason that you're all dressed up in green today.
Yes.
It's the Shamrock Splash. It's coming up next Sunday. Wow. All of a sudden
Yes.
it's upon us here,
Yeah.
March 12th, 1 o'clock, at Constitution Beach in East Boston, not on Wollaston Beach, Maureen.
Not on Wollaston Beach,
How
and
come?
not in South Boston. Actually, the splash had always been held at the M Street
bathhouse,
beach
right?
in,
Yes.
in South Boston. And then, of course, it wasn't held at all during the pandemic.
Right.
And then they went to a remote splash, which we
A
did.
virtual splash.
A
A virtual splash.
Yeah.
Mike Bellotti splashed from Spain last year.
Must have been tough.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, he said people were wearing overcoats. So,
Well,
you know.
you know.
But so we did a hybrid last year. The year that there was no major splash,
Yeah.
major in-person splash, we did it on Wollaston Beach. And then last year, thanks to basically the executive board of the Wollaston Yacht Club, just about every officer splashed on Wollaston
Nice.
Beach last year.
Okay.
And as a result, over $5,000 was raised for Wollaston Beach
Wow.
last year. And then this year, because they're still having rehabilitation at M Street, it went back to Constitution Beach where it was last year.
Okay.
But there is no splash on Wollaston this year.
Okay.
That doesn't prevent people from signing up.
I was just going to say, if folks want to participate in the splash, how do they raise money specifically for Wollaston Beach events?
And specifically for Friends of Wollaston Beach.
Yes, of course.
Go to shamrocksplash.org/FWB.
Okay.
And when you go on to that particular site, you can either go down to the bottom on the right-hand side and join the team
Okay.
if you want to splash, or if you'd just like to send us money. We don't object to that at all.
Okay. All right.
And you can designate your pledge to any one of the splashes that's
Signed up already.
have
yeah.
signed up already.
Is Bob signed up?
Oh, Bob has signed up. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Bob did it all by his lonesomes before. My husband joined him a few years ago,
Okay.
and then last year, I mean, he had lots of company.
Okay.
But
Yes.
yeah, Bob will definitely be there.
All right. Good.
And I'll be splashing for Wollaston
I was just
as
going to
well.
ask. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Now that you're a resident, right?
Yes. And the Shamrock Splash is such a fun event.
Yeah.
So this year it's sponsored by JetBlue, and being that it's sponsored by JetBlue, there are actually 6 different opportunities to win free round-trip JetBlue tickets to
Okay.
any destination. One of our other sponsors is Harpoon Brewery,
Mm-hmm.
which makes for a very fun event. For example, when you run into the water, there's a floating bar of Harpoon beers, and you could grab what you can
Seriously?
and head back to the beach. Seriously, yeah. So it's a very fun event. And
All
then
right.
there's also clam chowder from the Daily Catch,
Oh.
and we'll have some food from a local restaurant as well.
Oh,
So
right.
we like to say it's the Boston's best winter beach party. We'll have a DJ, there'll be lawn games, and it should be a fun
Costumes?
event. Costumes, yes.
Costumes.
One of the JetBlue tickets goes to the person with the best costume. Actually, there are 2 winners of the costume contest, both of whom get free JetBlue tickets
Oh, all
to
right.
wherever their choosing is, which is why we are a little bit more festive
I was
than
just
the
going to say,
average person.
is the theme, St. Patrick's attire? Is that the theme? or-
You could do anything.
Okay.
Last year we had someone dress up covered in balloons, and they were the grapes of raft. They had
Ah,
someone
very
come
good.
with them as a raft.
Okay.
So people get creative for sure.
Okay.
And
so
the Wollaston Beach one, we had a mermaid.
Yes.
a mermaid. So the splash itself raises money for Save the Harbor, Save the Bay. However, you can direct that directly to Friends of Wollaston Beach
Yes.
if you so choose.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and the splash itself actually raises money for the Better Beaches grant program.
Okay.
So all of the money that's contributed goes directly back into the community and directly back into the beaches.
Okay. All right.
And
then-
this year, and I don't think it's happened in the past, but this year, if you create a team and you raise money for that team, that money is part of your grant this year.
Oh, very
So,
good, okay.
If you raise $100,
Yeah.
then $100 goes back to your grant. If you raise $1,000, then
in addition to the grant
Yes.
from Save
Yeah.
the Harbor. Okay. All right. How does Save the Harbor determine the amount of grants, Maya? How does that happen?
Yeah, so we have a pretty lengthy review process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we normally get 100 to 200 grant applications.
Wow.
Yes, over the last couple of years, we've definitely seen an increase, which is incredible. So last year, I think we had maybe 100, 150 folks apply, and 67 grantees were
Okay.
chosen.
All right.
So many of the folks who apply end up getting enrolled in the program and are part of the grant program with us. So we read all of them. We have a committee that includes board members, community members, and we all review them together. And we also look at the results from the participatory budgeting and try to align what we're funding with the ideas that we saw from the community
Okay,
to
all right.
make sure that there is something interesting for all community members at the beach this summer.
That way it has the greatest impact as well, right?
Exactly.
The most bang for your buck, quite literally. Yeah.
Truly.
Are there groups from every single beach?
Yeah, so
Really?
we fund folks across all 9 communities that we have beaches in.
Okay. Would you say Friends of Wollaston Beach is one of the larger ones?
Friends of Wollaston
Yeah.
Beach is certainly one of the larger and one of my favorites of the grantees.
She's not the least bit prejudiced.
I'm not the least bit, but yeah, exactly, a
Right.
bit prejudiced at all. Which again, I'm encouraging other folks from Quincy to
Right.
apply because I would love to put even more of the funding back into the Quincy community.
Sure, sure. So, Maureen, is there going to be a Kids Fest?
There is going to be a
There is,
Kids
okay.
Fest. We have yet to determine the date.
Okay.
What will be coming up is the customary cleanups, the
Yes,
spring cleanups.
yes.
Every year on the last Saturday of April is a cleanup called Park Serve. It's done through DCR, and it will be from 10 to 12 on Wollaston Beach, probably around the Bayfield Street area. There's a parking lot right in that vicinity, to the north of the Squantum Club,
Which is right behind you.
which is right behind us. Okay, so to the north of Squantum Yacht Club, we'll be there on April 29th.
Okay.
And we have been really blessed because Master Sergeant DiLorenzo of the North Quincy High School Junior ROTC has continually provided
Yep.
us with a ready supply of volunteers, and we are so grateful
Those
to
kids are
them.
great. Yeah.
Yes.
And so they'll be there for Park Serve Day. I've already talked to Sarge, and he said he'll have some folks there.
Good, good.
And then the following weekend, first weekend in May, May 6th, is Cleaner Greener.
Yep.
And we have traditionally done Caddy Park at
Yes.
the south end of the beach. And of course, the great thing about Cleaner Greener is the mayor also has a cookout
Yes.
afterwards. And it gives you an opportunity to meet with other people of like mind. And we're trying to, as I mentioned, some of the programs that we had prior to the pandemic, we're trying to get back. We're hoping to have a couple of concerts on the beach.
Good.
We're hoping to do something with the library for Stories on the Beach.
Okay. All right.
We're, all of this is
Stay
subject.
tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned. We got to go. But
Okay.
thank you both.
Didn't even get a chance to talk about the Moby Mat.
It's okay.
That means you'll have to come back.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good to see you both. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you for
very much.
having us.
Nice day to get out on the beach today. Actually, lots of sunshine, a little windy, so we're a windbreaker, but temperatures up around 50 degrees this afternoon. Tomorrow, not quite as windy, a little brisk, with temperatures only in the upper 30s, and Wednesday and Thursday, kind of carbon copies cloudy, mid-40s. Thanks again, Maureen Mesrimus and Maya Smith, for joining us.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
Thank you to our crew. Thank you for watching Friday here in the show. QCAP's tax preparation program will be featured. Hope you can join us. Don't forget our website anytime, QATV.org. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.